So my research questions is it the faculty individual mindset that determines confidence, or is it the environment and support provided the institutionals? So when I talk about this topic, there are the three concepts: entrepreneurial mindset. When we talk about the entrepreneurial mindset, it's about the thinking, it's about having or taking a risks to transform the teaching and learning process. Yeah, access to improve teaching and learning. And second concept is the self-efficacy. It's about the faculty confidence. Mindset is the important, but transforming those mindset into a actions is a very important. So it's about the confidence in their ability to teach effectively. When I selected the self-efficacy, I selected the three areas. One is the classroom management confidence, teaching learning confidence, and more on. When I talk about the institutional environment, it's about the culture, it's about the policy, it's about the support that governs the teaching and learning processes. So bringing these ideas together, entrepreneur mindset, teaching efficacy, and the university environment is very much essential for understanding how to build a thriving academic culture, how to transform the academic learning setting. So what happens when educators start thinking like entrepreneurs? They are the entrepreneur, they are bringing the innovations in the teaching and learning process within a supportive university ecosystems. So as we are very know that mindset plays an important role in motivating faculty to come out their comfort zone, bringing the innovations, trying on new things. Then the institutional environment characterized by the support systems. Because in the Nepal education systems, most of the education institutional doesn't have a full-time faculty. The ratio between the full-time and faculty is more about the 1:5. So it's very important when we are bringing the part-time faculty in the educational institutions, we provide adequate support systems. Then an employee with a higher entrepreneurial mindset working in the supportive environment, performance will be increased. So when we talk about the entrepreneurial mindset, it's not about the starting the business. In the education system, it's about the seeing challenge and opportunity. It's about taking the risks to bring the new instructional risks. So when I go with the research gap, if we go to the literature review, most of the literature has focused on the students' entrepreneurial intentions. Predominantly, entrepreneurs research are focused on the students, bringing the entrepreneurial intentions, entrepreneurial educations. However, to bring innovations in the education sector, faculty is one of the pillar. So without understanding the faculty entrepreneur mindset, it will be very much difficult to bring the entrepreneur mindset among the students. Also, the entrepreneur mindsets and its relationship with self-efficacy are underexplored. Despite here in the Nepal, the government, the educational institutions are investing a huge money in promoting the entrepreneurship educations, but none of the study has been conducted to understanding the mindset of the faculty. So when we go to the literature review and hypothesis testing, entrepreneur mindset is changing and there is a lot of the definitions is going on. And one of the research has said that EM is always evolving. So the definitions is changing constantly. So for the research proposal, for this research, I have adopted two definitions from Fulsa 2017 and Davis 2015. A teacher with entrepreneur mindset has motivations and confidence to bring a new teaching and learning activities, and they show ability to engage innovative activities because of their entrepreneur attitudinal mindset. So note here we have to note that there are the two areas: one is skills, one is attitude. For this research purpose, I have selected attitudinal dimensions only. So while providing a definitions of teaching self-efficacy, Mandua 1997 is a famous in all the literature. It shows that individual judgment of their own capability to perform tasks successfully. How? So when I go to the literature, the relationship between the individual values and self-efficacy among educators remain understudied. So I selected that the self-efficacy is very important uh, in the educational sectors. When we talk about the institutional environment has been considered widely to understand the employee satisfaction and the performance. But in the context of the Nepal, institutional environment, university environment has not been considered to understand the entrepreneurship phenomenon. So for these issues, I have selected the three components described by the Urban 2021 that are the bureaucratic, humanistic, and the entrepreneurial elements. So this is generally a theoretical framework. How I have operated, I have used a two theory. One is a social cognitive theory. It explains that role of attitude and skills in shaping behavior. And the one is entrepreneurial mindset. So entrepreneurial mindset has a direct relationship on the self-efficacy or not. Then I have selected the institutional environment as a mediating variables. So research methodology, I have used a quantitative approach. Data collections was quiet between the December and the July 2025. I have used a purposive and the snowball sampling over here. And the participations are the faculty of the higher educations and the total I have collected a 287 data. When I use the filter, then the usable data is a 211. So to measure the entrepreneur mindset, I have used five skills that understand the risk taking, opportunity recognitions, action oriented, and lifelong learning and the visions. For the institutional environment, 14 items has been adopted that measure the humanistic, bureaucratic, and the entrepreneurs. Whereas for the teacher efficacy, 12 items has been adopted, which measure the student engagement, instructional strategy, and the classroom management. For the data analysis, I have used the SPSS 30 and the Smart PLS 4.0 to test the hypothesis testing. So all items were structured on the 5-point Likert scales over here. So when we talk about the results, if we go through the mean and the standard deviations, entrepreneur mindset is the 3.7 higher than the midpoint. Interestingly, when we talk about the entrepreneur environment, we believe that entrepreneur environment is the thriving in the education sector of Nepal. But the results showed that entrepreneur environment is a 2.961, less than the neutral point, less than the 3. It's a surprising result for me too, because we believe that entrepreneur mindset, entrepreneur ecosystem here, Nepal is a thriving. When we go to the validity and the reliability of the papers, I have used the average variance explains to understand the validity. Cronbach alpha, AB Cronbach alpha is greater than 0.7, so it's more on the reliable. However, average variance extracted, one of the self-efficacy is the 0.482, but the cutoff point is the 0.5. However, the research shows that if your Cronbach alpha composite reliability and conversion validity is greater than the 0.5, we can accept 0.482 also. So this result shows that all the skills that I have considered for my research are the valid and reliable. So this is a structural model. The structural model shows that the part coefficients of everything over here. So this is the overall results. So the result shows that there is a direct relationship between entrepreneur mindset and the self-efficacy, but it shows that when the institutional environment has been placed, its relationship has been changed. So this suggests that entrepreneur mindset influence self-efficacy primarily through mediations pathways, because direct relationship is the positive but not significant. So when we go through the institutional environment, when I have tasted on the tree, one of the significant that humanistic environment was positive and the significance, whereas entrepreneurial environment was not significant, bureaucratic environment was also not significant. So these findings indicate that humanistic environment is one of the critical factors that affect the relationship between the mindset and the self-efficacy. So the results show that medicine effect by the humanistic influence was the significance. So when we go through the discussions, prior studies has shown the similar results that the humanistic environment is about having a more on the culture of the giving and the taking. So this says that in the higher education context, the relations may be primarily indirect, with institutional environment exert a strong influence. So this study highlights humanistic environment most influence factors. Faculty who perceive the students as the supportive, who are the caring, who talked about their good and the bad in everything, who values about the humans are more likely to feel confidence. Interestingly, entrepreneurial environment is not a significant predictor over here. So institutional who promoting the entrepreneurial environments must focus on the humanistic part too. They need to give the credit. They need to be supportive to the faculties. So this finding aligns with the theoretical argument that impact of entrepreneurial mindset on individual outcome is often context dependent rather than the purely dispositional. So social this finding also supported by the social cognitive theory that self-efficacy indirectly through the supportive environments, especially humanistic one that foster trust, autonomy, and encouragement. So one of the research has also highlighted that the environment which has lack of the support, trust, recognitions, the faculty is not able to transform their mindset to the actions. So for the higher education institutions, it has the widely implications that the higher education institution must promote the mutual trust and the respect. Faculty voice needs to be heard and proper feedback mechanisms should be established to address their concerns and provide timely support. So while the existing literature has been primarily focused on the role of self-efficacy in developing entrepreneurial mindset, so the growing body of research has begun revisiting the relationship, how the mindset can bring the self-efficacy. Past most of the research shows that how the confidence bring the mindset, but the growing literature has shown that how the mindset can transform the self-efficacy. It's about the cycles. So yeah, this the finding we will that although there were no direct relationship between the entrepreneurial mindset and the self-efficacy, the institutional environment, particularly the humanistic environment, fully made with this relationship. Yeah. Thank you for listening. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Prajapati, for that great presentation. Let's see if we have any questions. Okay, we have one question in the chat. Yasin asked, what difficulties were you confronted while doing your research?
Yeah, thank you for the questions. So while I am doing this research, one of the difficulty that I find to understand the literature, because most of the literature uh, has been known on the self-efficacy impact on the mindset. But one of the literature and the book I have found that they have strongly vowed that entrepreneurial mindset and self-efficacy relationship need to be cyclic. One factor can affect another and they can come back. So while developing a theoretical framework, one of the time consuming is developing a theoretical framework. Another is reaching to the particularly participations, because I am using a snowballing and purposive. For the purposive, it becomes a little bitty, but when I do a snowballing sampling, reaching the uh, target participants is very difficult for me at that time.
Thank you so much. So we have another question from Jem Stacy. She said, your presentation has shown us the importance of entrepreneur mindset, self-efficacy, and institutional environment. Assuming that this institutional environment involves mainly their colleagues, to what degree do you believe that student behaviors and attitudes impact an educator's confidence? I understand that the research didn't analyze K-12 educational systems, so I'm curious to know your thoughts.
Yeah. Thank you for the questions. So this research has been conducted from the mindset, from the viewpoint of the faculties. So while conducting this research, yes, this might be another research area on how students can impact on the mindset of the faculty. This might be one of the another research area, but my focus area on the faculty side, how their mindset, individual mindset impact on their confidence. So I am trying to isolate the student's perspective over here. So yeah, definitely students type, students demographic, students knowledge has impact on the faculty, but under this research scope, I have not considered on this yet.
So the next question is from Dr. Bindo Tiwari. They said, great observation. I want to know what reflections can be observed in teachers with entrepreneur mindset. Is it significant in student learning process? Any real-time example?
Oh, yes, definitely. When we talked about the teacher entrepreneur mindset reflections, for example, let's say, being a teachers, when we go to the classrooms, one of the mindset that teachers bring is how to conduct the classes, how to with the classroom management. For example, one teachers can bring the same class with the different strategy. For example, a roundtable setting. For example, bringing a case study, giving the students during the classroom. Another faculty can do another type of the setting. So it's about the faculty mindset, how we interact with the students, how we bring my confidence within the classrooms. One of the teacher has said that one of the teacher who had the PhD degree came to the classrooms, and after the classrooms, she said that I feel very disappointed. I feel very disappointed and not able to confidence when I go to the classroom. It's because of her mindset about the classroom setting. So she thought that the classroom will be very much interactive. So she prepared accordingly. But when she went to the classrooms, she not able to transform her mindset according to classroom's learning strategy. So yeah, faculty entrepreneur mindset is a very much significance in the learning process.
Thank you so much. I do not see any other question in the chat. Is there anyone who wants to unmute themselves? I think Dr. Nino.
Yes. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
we can see you.
Thank you, Professor Bikram. It is very great presentation. Thank you so much. My question is related to culture. Did you consider the culture impact on the faculty and their entrepreneurs mindset?
Oh, so I have culture. I have considered any part of the culture because when we talked about the institutional environments, so some of the components of the culture has been comes on the every part of the institutional environment. For example, in the humanistic environment, there are some part of the questions of the culture. Similarly, in the bureaucratic, there is a part of the culture. Yeah. So
Okay.
when we talk about the institutional environments, part of the culture has been considered. Yeah.
Correct. And this is basically, as I understood, your research is basically from the Nepal culture in general, right?
Yes.
So if
Yes.
you have the opportunity to replicate your study and you consider to do it in different, like an institution outside in US, for example, will you consider the same factors, for example? Do you expect the same results?
This factor has been considered as a widely all around the world because this has been more than 20 years of the factor considered by researchers. So I believe that the research in perspective of the humanistic environment result will be the same. But for the entrepreneurial environment, result might be a difference. For the developed country who have entrepreneurial ecosystems, the result might be a difference. For the Nepal, like the developing country, who working on the entrepreneurship, developing the entrepreneur ecosystem, it doesn't show a significant relationship. Might be because we are in the early phase. For example, in the US, for example, in the West Coast University, if the entrepreneur ecosystem is a more mature, then this might have a significant impact on the self-efficacy, Dr. Nelia.
Thank you so much, Bikram.